Hello?
Mr. Edgar Lungu is still engaged in active politics by virtue of him holding office of president in the Patriotic Front. Now, the law is so clear. Chapter 15 of the laws of Zambia, particularly on section 5, paragraph B. It reads, and I want to quote, the pension and other benefits conferred by this act shall not be paid, assigned, or provided to a former president who is engaged in active politics. Now, many would want to ask, what is active politics? The same act defines what active politics is, and it says anyone who holds an elective position. Now, we all know that for one to serve as president in a political party, he must have been elected.
Subsidies on fuel and energy. People are expecting to have a better standard of living, so cost of business going down and so forth. How does this affect those two?
So, for the past 10 years, you and I and the Zambian people were told that subsidies were on fuel and electricity because it was benefiting us. That's what we're told. Now, every month, the previous regime was spending $67 million subsidizing fuel and another $40 million subsidizing electricity. In total, $107 million per month. On an annual basis, $1.3 billion. Now, this is money we did not have, by the way. This is money that was being borrowed expensively from outside. It comes in, then your government sits. And they say, we are not going to employ teachers. We are going to subsidize fuel. We are not going to employ nurses and doctors. We are going to subsidize fuel. We are not going to pay pensioners their retirement benefits. We are going to subsidize fuel. We are not going to pay CDF or equalization fund. We are going to subsidize fuel. We are not going to allow our kids to go to school. We are going to subsidize fuel. We are going to let the poor die because there's no food security support. We are going to subsidize fuel. The only problem was this, which the Zambian people don't know. That subsidy was not for you, my friends. It was not for you. I have been privileged to look at where the so-called subsidy was going on fuel.
What was it going?
When you look at the structure of your pump price, there are transportation costs in there. Transportation. That subsidy was going towards paying for transportation costs on fuel. Now, two things you need to know about transportation costs for fuel. Number one, they were inflated by over 200%. Okay, that's number one. Number two, the people who owned the vehicles that were moving fuel were your ministers in government. They connived with their friends, foreigners, to be borrowing expensive money. They bring it into the country. Rather than employing teachers, they say, no, we need a subsidy on fuel. Right? Except that subsidy was going towards paying for transportation of fuel when they knew full well that the tankers were theirs. They knew that. And you can clearly see why the motivation. Because when you look at the broader scheme of things anyway, over 60% of both fuel and electricity in this country is not used by poor people. It's not. Poor people in this country only consume 2% of both fuel and electricity. Did you know that? 2%. The rest of it is industrial use, principally the mines. But For 10 years, they made us all believe that the subsidy was for us. It was not for us. This is why they were getting rich. You and I were getting poor. They were getting rich. You a teacher, you are not employed. They were getting rich. You and as a doctor, you're not employed. They are getting rich whilst our parents were sleeping in the rain at Ministry of Justice, crying for their pension benefits. When this president comes in and the new administration, we look at the problem. Number one, can we afford the subsidy? No. Was the subsidy benefiting the Zambian people? No. What are the options? Okay? We say, okay, we're going to take this money. Let's employ 30,000 teachers. We're going to take this money. Let's employ 11,000 doctors and nurses. We're going to take this money. Let's increase CDF to 25.7 million. We are going to take this money. Let's increase.
To all those joining us right now, kindly like this video and also take 1 second of your life to share it. So I can see a lot of people joining us on Facebook, on our Facebook Z Corner page and the YouTube page. So kindly share the video. We need to have at least 150 shares. So I can see there's a lot of people watching. So if you're just joining us, kindly share this video right now.
Food security support program for 300,000 families. Let's take this money. Let's allow our kids to go to school for free from grade 1 to 12. Let's take this money. Let's pay our mothers and fathers their pension benefits. Okay? That's what we have done. Then we go a step further. What was the main issue while we were discussing subsidies on fuel? It was because for the same bottle of water, which should cost, say, 1 kwacha, your government decided to say, we're going to buy this same bottle of water for 10 kwacha. Because that's how they used to get paid. We have so many people willing to supply fuel to this country. Yet, your government, for the past 10
Good evening. Please share the video right now before we continue, because there's absolutely no way we can be having over 500 people watching us and there's only about 14 shares. So we need to have at least 200 shares by the end of this live stream. So before we continue, because we are definitely going to have profound discussions, because we're going to be exposing a lot of stuff today, some powerful stuff. So kindly let everybody know. Share it on your timeline and in 5 different Facebook groups that you belong to, because, you know, this is some very powerful information. So before we continue, I want everybody watching me right now to hit the share button and also like the video, because, you know, everybody has to know this information.
Yes. They decided to go and procure fuel from the most expensive suppliers. Okay? At over 35 to 40% more than what the cheapest guy was prepared to bring that product for. And then they said, let's put a subsidy on it. So they steal from you in terms of actual price, because they're buying from an expensive supplier who's their friend. The commissions, they go into their pockets. They build all the houses that you're hearing about. Then after that, they say, you know what, you can make a bit more money. Let's buy tankers ourselves. They buy tankers themselves. And then they take that subsidy and pay themselves money in terms of transportation fees. And then you and I and the rest of the Zambian people pay the price at the pump. That subsidy was not for you. It was not for me. It was not for the people of Chawama or Mandevu or Matero or in Livingstone or in Indola, Chawama, anywhere. No, that subsidy was for them. So now we are saying we are taking that subsidy.
Even I want to continue sharing because we're going to be exposing how the clique of thieves were able to siphon money out of the Zambian people and the Zambian coffers. We need now to reach 500 shares before we continue, and everybody hit the like button because you need to like the video and you also need to share the video because there's absolutely no way we are going to be putting in a lot of effort providing all this profound information to you, the Zambian people. So the least that you can do is kindly share and let everybody know. Tag everybody and let me know where are you watching us from, because you need to represent your constituency, your location, your area. So let's continue calling a lot of people. Let's continue calling a lot of people because Edgar Lungu's pension money is obviously at stake because he might not be able to get his pension money. So if you want to find out more information about that, kindly share. I can see there's over 600 people watching us. Hit the share button right now. Let's go.
We're giving it to the Zambian people. We're going to employ the nurses, the doctors. We're going to employ teachers. Kids will go to school for free. Your CDF support will be increased. Farmer input support program will be heightened so that we increase beneficiaries to over 1 million people, same as social cash transfer support, and so on and so forth. But there's a critical question which arises. When the price of fuel goes up, once the cost of living go up, and once the poor people suffer.
So the removal of subsidies will not also obviously bring the price of fuel down, isn't it? It will go up.
So it's a process that we have to think through systematically. Subsidy goes out. Generally, right now, if you were to remove just the subsidy, you remove it, and you pass everything to the Zambian people, I can guarantee you the cost of your fuel at the pump will probably be about 24 per liter. But the president understands the pain that will occasion on the Zambian people. This is why we say
let's continue sharing and calling more and more people. So Anthony Bwalya has exposed the way the clique of thieves were using subsidies to steal money from you. But before we continue having this discussion, Itananani, you need to share. So I can see there's only 316 shares and we are having over 700 people watching us. So everybody that is watching us on YouTube and on Facebook, kindly share. And I can see there's only a few likes. So we need to have at least 1,000 likes tonight. We only have 179 likes. So if you did, or rather if you are watching us, hit the like button and share and tag at least 5 people. Share this broadcast in 5 Facebook groups that you belong to. Otherwise, we're not going to give you any information if you do not share. Let's take 1 second of your life and help the live stream get more and more viewers. Let's go.
We are going to go down to where the problem is. We'll follow the problem to the latter and understand where else are these inefficiencies across the fuel and energy value chain. Okay? Where else? So, for example, when Tazama and Ndeni are shut down, because for over 12 months under the old regime, those facilities were shut down. No crude oil was procured. And yet, the Tazama and Ndeni components, Tazama and Ndeni fees were being charged to you and the Zambian people at the pump. No one told you this. But now we're saying, is it fair that we're not importing crude oil, but Tazama fees and Ndeni fees are being charged? We need to look at that. Where is the fuel coming from? How are various fees being charged? We need to realign all of those so that ultimately we deliver fuel at a pump price that is optimal for you, for me, and the rest of the Zambian people. The question of once the cost of living go up. Now, each time the cost of living goes up, who suffers the most? It's the poor people. Who are the poor? It's the unemployed. It's the pensioners. It's the kids who need to go to school, but their parents have no money because their pension benefits have not been paid. So what have we done to mitigate all of that? We are saying well in advance, we are going to give those who are not employed, who are giving you jobs. And for starters, we are saying 30,000 for you teachers, 11,000 for you healthcare professionals. Because it is not good for a teacher or a nurse who has gone to college but is unemployed, zero income, to be saying, yeah, fuel is 17 kwacha per liter, it's better, but I have no job. Now we are saying it is better for you to have a job, have an income. Even if fuel was to go up by 1 kwacha, you'll have the means to scale that. Is it good for a pensioner whose pension benefits have not been paid to say the cost of living is going to go up if fuel goes up by 1 kwacha? Well, you have no money, you have not been paid your pension benefits. But now we're saying it is better we give you all your money, you pensioners. We give you all your money. If fuel goes up by 1 kwacha, is that not better? Is it better for you to say fuel should stay at 17 kwacha per liter, but I have no money to send my kid to go to school? Is it better for you? But now we're saying it is better for your kids to go to school, guaranteed, grade 1 to grade 12, for free. Even if the price of fuel just goes up by 1 kwacha. Just 1 kwacha for now. And obviously the goal and the target, as we rebuild and stabilize the economy, we are looking to drive down the kwacha dollar exchange rate, because that is critical. It plays into the price. Once we drive that down, the price of fuel may well start coming down. And as we begin to perfect the supply chain of these critical goods, fuel, electricity, the target is that we must deliver them at a price that is acceptable.
Move on to continue sharing. We have about 150 shares remaining in order for us to have 500 shares this evening. And I can see we only have 292 likes. We need to get to over 500 likes and 500 shares. So if you want us to continue talking about how the clique of thieves were stealing from the people of money, from the people of Zambia money, then you have to do what you have to do. Help this broadcast reach more people by sharing and tagging everybody that you need to tag, because people like Anthony Bwalya have got the scoop. They have the, they've got the juice. They understand what they are talking about. And we want to open your eyes so that such things can never, ever, ever get to repeat. So kindly hit the share button, like the video. We need about 500 shares and 500 likes. If you haven't done that, we'll close the stream. So let's do it right now, ladies and gentlemen. Let's do it right now. Share and let everybody know.
To the Zambian people. So the long and difficult process has started. This is a long and difficult process which has started. But we want to assure the Zambian people that this is for you. This is for us. It is not for them in government. It is not for their friends in the private sector. Now, no one is going to benefit from your debt money, expensive money. They take it, they put it into their pockets. Then they ask you, the Zambian people, to pay for it when you have no jobs. When your pension benefits cannot be paid. When your CDF is not coming. Now we are saying, all the measures that we are taking now, energy reforms, the fight against corruption, resolving the debt crisis, all the measures that we are taking, they are all coming together in the social budgets that we have presented. We are saying this is for you. It is not for politicians. It is not for their friends. It is for you. Whereas the subsidy on fuel was benefiting only 2% of the Zambian population, the policy on free education for kids is for everyone. Every child. Even a child who lives in a grass-thatched house in a village will benefit from this. When we say we are paying all pensioners, we are not segregating. It is all pensioners. It is all pensioners. When we deliver CDF at 25.7, it is for all constituencies, including the poorest of all constituencies. So for the first time, you have a government that is delivering public policy measures which are intended to benefit all citizens, not just 2%, not just the over 60% the mines and so on, public policy measures and changes that are aimed at making life better for all our citizens. This is what the Zambian people wanted.
There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. That was a breakdown of how the clique of thieves were able to siphon money, from the Zambian coffers using subsidies. Now, this is it's a very sad story, a very sad story. So I'm sure to all the people who are just joining me right now, you haven't really heard exactly how Anthony Bwalya broke it down. So kindly wait for the live stream to finish and then, play back the playback. Then you'll be able to understand exactly why the fuel and electricity subsidies were basically a sham. This is crazy stuff, and it's very unfortunate. Zambia, you are a blessed nation. Zambia, you are so rich. You've got so many opportunities, but the leaders are taking advantage, or rather, we're taking advantage. So this is one of the reasons why I am so happy that these subsidies have been sort of cut down, because we are going to filter out the clique of thieves. But anyhow, in today's conversation, or rather today's broadcast, is mostly going to be talking about a few things, because we have some developing stories and we've got some very crucial stories. For example, did you know that Edgar Lungu's pension money is at stake because he is participating, or rather he is in active politics? Okay, so there has been a citizen of Zambia, a very vigilant citizen of Zambia by the name of Joseph Busenga. And by the way, if anybody knows Mr. Joseph Busenga, let them know that Bazet Kona Bademi Itananani Joseph Busenga, and let him join this particular live stream so that he can explain more why he decided to sort of, bring this issue about, because he reported, or rather he brought this idea of Edgar Lungu's pension being threatened, because he cited the Zambian constitution, which says that a former president will not be able to receive his pension if he remains in active politics. And Edgar Lungu is apparently still the Patriotic Front president. And, that really means he's participating in active politics. And if you are a former president and you participate in active politics, then your pension money is at stake. This is something that is stipulated in the Zambian constitution. So Mr. Joseph Busenga has raised this particular point, and he has given a 7-day ultimatum to the former Republican president, Mr. Edgar Lungu. It's either Mr. Edgar Lungu sort of resigns and he's no longer going to be the president of the Patriotic Front, or his pension money gets to be, it's going to be compromised, if I can put it that way, for lack of a better term. So, Nkania Lula, so he's been given a 7-day ultimatum by Mr. Joseph Busenga. So, if anybody knows Joseph Busenga, I know my voice is very wide. Please call Mr. Joseph Busenga to just join today's live stream, because I want to hear the news from him, because he understands the Zambian law better than I do, and I want to have this conversation with him. And Z Corner is a community TV station. Everybody is able to participate. So, if you want to participate in today's topics, by the way, let me also give you the other things that we are going to be talking about. So, developing story. Bowman Lusambo and other Patriotic Front nullified MPs have actually discontinued a case in which they challenged the decision of the Speaker of the National Assembly, Miss Nelly Mutti. So basically, Bowman Lusambo and other nullified PF members are no longer interested in, going on with the case, and they have basically accepted defeat. So I really believe, if I'm not mistaken, if we are getting these reports right, it really seems they are not going to be attending Parliament, and there's obviously just going to be some re-elections in their respected constituencies. So are they finally accepting defeat? Are they finally, swallowing the bitter pill? Because, they are lawyers. Makebi Zulu, he's obviously a very powerful lawyer, and he understands what's at stake. So today's reports are obviously indicating that Makebi Zulu and them have not decided to pursue this matter further. So this really means these people are finally getting to accept the situation they are in. So what is the future of Bowman Lusambo and all these nullified MPs? Are we going to have re-elections anytime soon? And what is going to be the outcome? The other topic that we are going to be talking about is obviously, you know, the usual. Faith Musonda was detained, and we're still going to find out a lot of information. So if you want to participate and be part of this conversation, check out the link which is pinned in the comment section. That's where you can click on it, and you'll be able to come through and you'll be able to give us your opinions. And in order for you to be accepted, you have to turn on your video. Make sure you're professional, make sure you've got your mic working and you're ready to go, because sometimes you really get to spoil the show when you come through and you're not really properly prepared for this conversation. So I can see Mr. Chambo has joined, but he doesn't have his video on. So Chambo, kindly turn on your video. If you do not turn on your video, then I'm not going to be able to accept you on the stream. So remember, ladies and gentlemen, continue sharing. We need to have about at least 1,000 likes and 1,000 shares. So let's go back to ECL. ECL's situation with regards to the pension. Now listen to this carefully, because this is the law. This is not malice. This is not something which people are doing intentionally. This is the law of Zambia, the constitution. So listen to this young man. He goes by the name of Mr. Joseph Busenga. So if anybody knows this young man, let him know that Z Kona Baku Itanani, and we need him to give us a full forensic explanation of what is at stake here with regards to ECL's pension money. So everybody, call Joseph Busenga. I hope we're not going to be harassing him, by the way. I hope we're not going to be harassing him, but I just need him to be part of this conversation. All right, okay, so let's listen to this.
Mr. Edgar Lungu is still engaged in active politics by virtue of him holding office.
Hold on, let me do that again. I think something went wrong, so let me just do it one more time. There we go. And
Mr. Edgar Lungu is still engaged in active politics by virtue of him holding office of president in the Patriotic Front. Now, the law is so clear. Chapter 15 of the laws of Zambia, particularly on section 5, paragraph B. It reads, and I want to quote, "The pension and other benefits conferred by this act shall not be paid, assigned, or provided to a former president who is engaged in active politics." Now, many would want to ask, what is active politics? The same act defines what active politics is. And it says, anyone who holds an elective position. Now, we all know that for one to serve as president in a political party, he must have been elected.
Yeah, so that was a breakdown. And according to, let me get the exact section 5(1)(b) of the Zambian constitution. It says that if a former president has not resigned from active politics, he will not be able to receive his pension. So what exactly is going to happen to the Patriotic Front? Because if this matter is actively pursued, right, there's a lot at stake. So are we going to see Mr. Edgar Lungu relinquish his position as being the Patriotic Front president? If that happens, are we going to witness a convention with regards to the Patriotic Front? Because obviously they will need to find new leaders. And to all the Patriotic Front youths out there, you already know what to do. If you really want your party to survive, you need to change the usual faces. You need to have new leadership. So Maxwell Chungu, I'm talking to you right now. Talk with your people and let them know that the people of Zambia really want to see total rebranding of the Patriotic Front. We do not want to see the usual faces. We need to see new faces, because the current faces occupying top positions with regards to the Patriotic Front, right? These are the people that the Zambian people do not need. Whenever we see them, we just feel lethargic, and we just, I don't know, they just rub us off the wrong way. So Maxwell and all the PF youths, I'm talking to you directly. You need to sit down with your people, have a convention, and let them know that you need fresh people with fresh records, because these regular people who are representing the Patriotic Front at this particular moment, they are definitely going to further sink the PF in the ground. So if you want your political party to survive, you need to have new faces, new leadership. That is what rebranding is all about. You can't have a rebranded political party with the same faces. So to all the PF youths who are listening to my voice right now, do what is right for your political party, your organization, if you love it. Otherwise, the people of Zambia are not going to take, having the same people who inflicted a lot of pain, a lot of anger, a lot of anguish. These people cannot continue representing your political party. So do what you have to do. In the meantime, let's wait for some more people to join. So to all my regular panelists, please check out the link in the description. Join this particular conversation, because we need to have this conversation. So ladies and gentlemen, I want to hear from you. What do you think Edgar Lungu, or rather Mr. Edgar Lungu, former Republican president of Zambia, what do you think what do you think he's going to do? Is he going to be able to hang on to the Patriotic Front presidency while having his pension money at stake? And by the way, pension is very, very important. I'm sure he wouldn't want to lose his pension money, because, then why did he do all the work that he did? So it's a very tough decision to make. And he has been given a 7-day ultimatum to make a decision. So this is going to be crazy. This is definitely going to be crazy. In the meantime, obviously, we did talk about this, right? This is some information coming through from the Zambia report. By the way, I'm just getting this information from other people. Lusambo and 7 others drop case against National Speaker. So Kabushi PF Member of Parliament Bowman Lusambo and 7 others have discontinued the matter in which they challenged Speaker of the National Assembly NELLY MUTTI's decision to ban them from attending Parliament. This is according to a notice of discontinuance filed in the Lusaka High Court on Wednesday. Take notice that the applicants herein have forthwith discontinued the application for an order to leave to move for judicial review dated December 7th, 2021. The notice read, in this matter, Lusambo and 7 others, namely Lucas Simumba, Kalwalwe Makosa, Mutotwe Kafuaya, Taolo Chewe, Chibuya Christopher, Joseph Malanji, and Alan Banda have cited the Attorney General. According to the affidavit in support of ex-party summons for an order for leave to move for judicial review filed on December 7th. Jesus, I can't read today. Lusambo said in August 2021, he and other applicants were duly elected as members of parliaments for their respective constituencies. Subsequently, the said seats were petitioned and the High Court nullified them. Following the decision of the High Court, we appealed against the said decisions of the High Court, and there is currently pending determination by the Constitutional Court, he submitted. All right. Okay. So basically, it seems they have given up. It seems they have given up, and they are not going to be sort of pursuing this particular matter. So what does that mean from a psychological perspective of being a determined opposition leader? So that's what I'm trying to find out. So I can see some people joining through. Richard K, welcome to the show. How are you doing, my brother? Hi. How are you doing? Richard. All right. Okay. This is
Mamon. I think the network is bad, but I can get you now.
You can get me. All right. Okay. So don't snooze. So what do you think? Do you think Edgar Lungu is going to be able to say goodbye to his pension money? Or do you think he's going to continue holding on to the PF presidency? And do you think they are going to have a convention pretty soon?
Okay. Even before I answer your question, there's something that shocks me about Lungu. Lungu says he's a lawyer, but there are so many situations where he's supposed to express himself and know things as a lawyer, but things happen to him as if he's not a lawyer. If you remember what happened when ministers were allowed by Lungu to stay in office beyond the expected period, he's a lawyer. He was supposed to know those things before they happened. Even in this situation, as a lawyer, he should have known that as long as I stick to my position as a president for PF, I won't get my pension. But again, he's caught up in this situation. For me, I feel Lungu, because if you look at HH, we say HH is an economist. When it comes to economical issues, the way he expresses himself in that context, in that area, you would know that this one is an economist. But our lawyer, when it comes
to issues, brother Richard, are you saying that Mr. Lungu didn't pass Zayeli properly as a lawyer because he does questionable things as a lawyer, as a practicing lawyer? Do you think Badi pass if we know as a lawyer Lungu? Of course, I'm being petty. I'm joking. Anyway, you don't need to answer that question. Move on.
That's funny. But yeah, of course, you may wonder. Maybe nyawa koma guys abakwe bati mukalife kukujoba no kupasa maisha, but when it comes to delivering what he has been, charging and all that, yabakwati yakosako. But otherwise, he's been I don't know the word I can use, the kind of word I can use, like an embarrassment in that context. Anyway, but coming back to your question, but I think Balungu kuimwena mofe but okay, kuimwena mofe. One, you have disappointed the Zambian people in so many ways. You have failed as a president, and you still want to continue. Sometimes why when of a pen
yeah, but why do you think he's clinging on to the PF presidency? Why do you think it's a big deal? I mean, he's obviously made a ton of money. He's made a lot of money. He's good for the rest of his life. He's good. But why is he clinging on to the Patriotic Front presidency?
Okay, I think Mr. Lungu doesn't have the right people around him to advise him correctly, because he's not able to listen to the Zambian people. But the people that are around him...
But that's a very broad statement. Why do you think he doesn't have the right... Because I really believe it's not that hard to have the right people around you, to get, substantial advice from people. It's very easy. And nowadays with social media, it's very easy to judge the sentiments of the overall citizens by just looking at the majority of comments. It's very easy. Unless you've got your head stuck up in the, I don't know, like in sand or something. I don't know. It's just so hard for you not to know what's going on. Yeah, but anyway, go on.
Yeah, personally, I fail to understand Lungu, okay, but honestly, I don't know whether, there is this thing they call wisdom, eh? I don't know whether wisdom doesn't manifest in him. And I don't know. I just don't know why he doesn't listen to what people are saying. He's not able to read the situations around. I don't know. Just
okay, but Richard, do you think this is a political witch hunt, for lack of a better term? Because we know tomorrow, the respective parties are going to be saying, this is political witch hunt. Now they don't want him to get the pension, but the constitution of Zambia is clear as day. If you are in active politics, your pension is at stake. So What do you think the other side is going to say? Do you think this is fair? Should we follow the law? Is Mr. Lungu a sacred cow, whereby everything that's stipulated in the constitution, to him it doesn't really apply? What do you think should happen?
Of course, the law must be implemented. Definitely, the law must be considered first. But the problem with the PF guys, including Lungu, they still think they're still in power. They thought they were immune to, to the constitution. They were immune to certain consequences that come out after you break the law. They still have that. I think they need to be taught a lesson. But of course, the law must be applied. If the law says if you stick to political positions, your pension is at stake, let this be a lesson to him. If he continues like this, let the law be applied, and whatever is supposed to be done according to the law, let it be done, so that himself can learn and other people can learn too, because they still have that arrogance they had in power. It's not yet out of them. I don't know. I feel the law must be implemented so that other people also, those that are in politics, can learn.
Right. Thanks, Brother Richard. We'll stick around. Let's listen to Brother Jason. Brother Jason, welcome to the show. Finally, what took you so long? Welcome to the show, Brother Jason.
Thank you so much, Brother Mona. I think the struggle accessing the link.
Okay.
Because of the network problem, yes. Actually, maybe if you saw in the comment section, I requested about 2 times for you to resend the link.
Okay, but now you're here. We're glad you're here. So, Brother Jason, let's talk about former Republican President, Mr. Edgar Lungu, and his pension. What do you think is going to happen? There's a 7-day ultimatum. The clock is already ticking. Do you think Mr. Lungu is going to relinquish his capability to receive his pension by staying in active politics, by being the Patriotic Front president? Do you also feel the PF are going to hold a convention to have, some new leaders elected?
Sorry, Brother Mona. Thank you so much for that question. We have actually the Constitution, which talks about when a president actually is out of power, he or she, for that person to access the pension money, you are not supposed to affiliate yourself to active politics. But when we look at Edgar Lungu's actually stance, it's like he's not ready to relinquish that position. I don't know the fears that he has. But personally, I look at Edgar Lungu actually as somebody who is better off. Because if he's actually serious with the pension money, he should just do the needful. And the needful that Edgar Lungu has to do is just to relinquish that presidential position and call for a convention, so that actually even the face of the party that the PF are talking about, which has to be changed, can be actually sustained. But looking at the president for PF, I don't see him actually relinquishing that position so easily, because
but why? I think he doesn't have any option. It's not about his wishes here. It's about the law of Zambia.
Yeah. And but now, Brother Muna, like maybe Richard spoke about, maybe it's because of arrogance. When you look at what you have to be more than, actually, what is...
Yes, but Brother Jason, with regards to money, people sober up. Kumpia so, abantu,
yes,
is at stake.
But we are talking about somebody who thinks that he has it all. He doesn't even care about whatever benefit that comes up actually with the retired president and the like. Because if he's somebody actually who is looking at maybe the pension money to be more important than what he has, I think it was going to be easy for President Lungu to relinquish that position. So we are talking about somebody who feels comfortable maybe to maintain presidency because he has that which can sustain his entire life and the like.
Yeah,
so
but,
I'm sure that's
but Brother Jason, let's look at the pros and the cons of being an opposition party president. You know, the man has worked and he can just simply retire and be good, eat well, breathe air, and just live a happy life. Why? What are the pros of being PF president? What are the pros for a man like Edgar Lungu at this particular moment? I don't really see any benefits if you weigh the pros and the cons, right? I don't really see many benefits to him remaining the party president. So, Brother Moses, what are the pros and the cons of being PF party president? Unmute yourself.
Hello. What is the question?
My question is, why do you think a person like Edgar Lungu would cling on to remaining the Patriotic Front party president when his pension money is at stake?
I think I can start saying that the president, Mr. Lungu, maybe can come, not him.
All right, Richard, welcome back. Richard, did you hear my question?
Yeah, yes, I got the pros and cons of.
Yeah, why would he want to still cling on to being PF party president instead of just retiring and just living a good life?
For me, I don't see any advantage of sticking to PF. I only see the disadvantages, because one, PF is dead. PF will never rise as long as they keep the same people that were ruling when PF was in power. So I don't understand why Lungu is still sticking to the position as a president of PF, because I don't see life in PF. So if you say pros and cons, or advantages and disadvantages, I can only see the disadvantages. He's wasting his time and his integrity by being the party president. So I don't see any advantages of being part of the PF.
Definitely. I mean, if I were Mkwai, if I were President Lungu, I would just, quit active politics, say sorry to the people of Zambia, and lay low, live a good life. That's it. So, Brother Jason, we kind of lost you there. What was your point?
Yeah, yes, Brother Muna. What actually I wanted to put across is that, arrogance actually is equivalent to unrepented act, because, it comes with insecurity, whereby if you are too arrogant, certain things, you'll be scared to lose them. You'll be scared to let go because of being insecure of the unknown. Yeah? So what I can just see happening to our actually outgoing president is maybe because of too much insecurity. I don't know why he's so afraid just to relinquish that position. And, the insecurity, I'm sure that's what is keeping him to be just there, to say, let me just be the party president. He is not even care about the benefits in the long run. All he's just looking at is what is there, the benefit actually in the present. He's not taking time actually to look at, like Richard has mentioned, he doesn't care about the integrity. He doesn't care about the good name. Look at what actually Lupia Banda did. Lupia Banda is one of the actually the retired president that even Edgar Lungu can learn from, because life is all about accepting the change. When you accept that things have changed, it is the starting of actually healing. It is the starting actually of building up and starting up actually a new move. It is a point where you even say, I need to move on. But it is like, when you experience something you were not expecting, Brother Muna and the viewers and the fellow panelists, to some people, it becomes very difficult just to accept, to give in. It becomes very difficult. What we are talking about here is we're looking at the cartel which PF made actually with the government system. They never expected that they would lose actually the 2021 general election. And most of them, they are actually in a shock. They are actually still sleeping. They are actually thinking like they are dreaming. That's why we can hear sentiments full of arrogance, because they feel they are still there. So the advice that I can give to our president, you know, one, he should remember that he saved this country, and it is not that people are going to bank on the wrongs that he committed actually through his governance. We are going to remember Edgar Lungu, and all he should do, he should just look at that integrity. Let him bank on the integrity that will come actually with the acceptance of defeat. That's all. You know, actually he has taken the first step over releasing actually the instrument of power so easily. It was not easy. It was not easy. Actually, we saw what happened on the release of the instrument of power. Even the party official members, those who were so loyal to Edgar Lungu, they even failed to show up on the daughter. That's why, you know, I really give credit to Edgar Lungu's daughter, our MP. You know, she has that courage as a woman. She honestly allowed her shoulder for the father to lean on that day. It was not easy. So what we can advise to our current to the outgoing president Edgar Lungu is he should not be insecure at all. Let him just accept that this has happened, and actually being out of that party position, it is not going to be the end of his life. What actually will happen is he's going to benefit a lot. He's going to benefit a lot as an outgoing president. It's not, I don't think Edgar will talk about it. I don't have meal in the house. I don't have this and that. Everything will be catered for. So the only thing that we can advise our outgoing president, I'm sure there are people who are able to listen, who can relay this information that we are giving, to say, release that position, and you'll be very safe and you'll be at peace, because actually it will protect him from a lot of stress of discussing issues actually, which I don't know. I don't even know how to say it. I don't know even how to put it. So I don't know, Brother Muna, if I can also jump in on the issue of the subsidy. I don't know.
Yes,
if you can allow me.
We'll talk about that a little bit later, because right now we're moving topic by topic. So anyway, hold on, Brother Jason. Brother Chambo, welcome to the show. Finally, you've got your video on, because I saw you yesterday. You didn't have your video on, so I didn't allow you to come through. So yeah, welcome to the show. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm very good. So what's your contribution?
This on the Lungu topic, right?
Right.
For me, I think he's gonna take his pension. He'll give up the presidency. I mean, I'm looking at it based on the fact that allegedly PF was a corrupt regime, right? So it was basically about the money. So why would he pass up this paycheck? I mean, you know, I'm looking at it from that angle. I think he's not that naive. I mean, he might have been arrogant in power and all that, but I really don't believe he's that naive. I think he's going to, you know, eventually just step down and take the money. Because what does he have to lose? I mean, if he doesn't take the money, he has a lot to lose. Because there's already allegations of him being corrupt together with his ministers, so they should remove his immunity and you know, investigate him and all that. So that's like a whole lot to deal with, you know. And then there's a free paycheck right there, and then you pass it by. I don't think he will. I really doubt that.
Do you think our judiciary has got the capacity to sort of see to it that this particular part of the Constitution is respected?
Definitely. yeah, with the new regime in power, definitely. I mean, I just saw the video of Nakacinda's arrest at Charleston Police and how it was handled. You know, the police thing. He came out and spoke. How he spoke. I feel like, you know, we can start to have hope in our judiciary again. You know, I feel like, yeah, they will get this done properly.
Right. So let's assume he gets to sort of give up his position as party president. What do you see is going to happen to the Patriotic Front? Do you see them having a convention? Because I'm sure they are scheduled to have one like in May 2022. So what happens to the political party, to the Patriotic Front?
I mean, there's already confusion already. I mean, it's been there. You know, is it the late Michael Sutter's funeral? There was already, you know, people putting up Bwalya as the head and whatnot. He's in the forefront. I feel like there'll be more confusion if he steps down, because now it'll be like, I want it, this one will come, I also want the position. So I feel like there'll be more confusion than there is. And it will be like, this is when we'll actually see it outburst, you know, like out of proportion and out of control. So yeah, that's what I think will happen.
Right. Do you think this is going to be a grand opportunity for the overzealous Patriotic Front members to sort of vie for the party presidency? Because now that the media and everybody on social media is talking about this, right? This is a grand opportunity to you know, sort of step up and stand as a PF president. How do you see the party members react to this particular, you know, media sort of awakening?
I expect more division, you know, kind of like what's the Harry Calabar party? Is it DC?
DP, yeah, DP, Democratic Party.
You saw how that went, you know. I feel like it's gonna go in that direction, but worse, because we all know how, you know, PF is a big political party. It's a countrywide political party, and DC is really just starting. So I feel like it'll be worse than the DC. So yeah.
All right. Okay, good. Thanks, Brother Chembo. We've got a lot of topics, so stay put because we've got a lot of things to discuss. Brother Emmanuel Panga, long time no see. you kind of abandoned us. What happened? Welcome back, sir.
Yeah. A lot happened, Brother Muna. Good evening, panelists, and good evening to you.
Good evening. So what's your contribution?
Thank you so much. The issue over the former president, Edgar Lungu, I think is straightforward. Him being a lawyer, I think he understands the constitution better than us. Now, the way he does things is to the contrary. Because once you lose the elections, you are called the former head of state. And when you continue with the politics, I think it is in black and white. It means that you are in active politics. But in this case, I don't think he will continue. He cannot just lose his benefits for the sake of redeeming PF. Because already at PF, there is very big division. As we are seeing currently, there are so many divisions going on because of when he announced that he wants to hand over power. And so many people came on board to say this one is standing, this one is standing. I'm sure he's not going to just lose his benefit to redeem the PF political party. That I see very soon is going to step down.
So, Brother Emmanuel,
his benefits.
What happens to the Patriotic Front without Edgar Lungu? Is Edgar Lungu the savior, the person who's holding the political party intact? What happens without him?
The Patriotic Front actually it will be more stronger without Edgar Lungu, because there are men and women who are able.
All right, I think we kind of lost
to bring the party together, as long as they are doing the genuine rebranding of the party.
Yeah, Brother Emmanuel, your internet is tripping. We're having trouble listening to you. Anyway, fix your internet, then we'll have you back. So, guys, which one is the best network in Zambia? Because my panelists need to, find the best network which doesn't really give people trouble. So, Brother Lewis, unmute yourself.
Sure, let the panelists, I'm sure, secure their internets with Airtel. I'm sure that is the most reliable at the moment, because these other networks, I'm sure they are too much. Airtel, I'm sure, is reliable for now.
Yeah, so people, make sure you've got Airtel before you join. So, Brother Lewis, do you see the Patriotic Front without Mr. Edgar Lungu? And what would happen if he had to cease being the president, the party president?
Well, for me, it's a game of chance at the moment. If you ask me, I think they're playing mind games. It's a situation where he probably has a preference of who he would want to hand over to. But, from the look of things, from what is obtaining on the ground, I don't think maybe the person he wants to hand over to is the people's favorite in that part. So it's we might see, for me, we might see some confusion coming up after that convention or towards that convention, because for now we've only seen a few people come on board to express their interest to vie for the presidency, but then some people are playing it smart. I think, trust me, they're playing it smart in the background. But I think as we go towards June, is it June or July? We expect to see more people expressing interest in the presidency. What happens to the PF after he steps down? For me, I don't think PF can come back in power, because as the pattern has always been, once a ruling party leaves power in Zambia, it never comes back into power. And looking at what some of the things were subjected to as a citizenry, issues of Kadarism and all those things, I don't think the Zambians are ready to go back to that unless we see anything worse than this. Like in one interview, State Council Sangwa said, he says, and I quote, I don't think there will be any leadership that will subject us to worse than what the PF subjected us to, because it was really bad. So for me, I think the PF is done.
All right. Okay. Thanks, Brother Lewis. So, Brother Jason, why do you think the PF usually have succession wrangles? Because going back to the earlier days, there were succession wrangles. Mao Sampa, Guy Scott, Edgar Lungu, etc. So, do you think former Republican president of Zambia, Mr. Edgar Lungu, is going to play a key role in deciding who gets to inherit the presidency? Or do you think there's going to be like total democracy in the Patriotic Front? And why is it important for Mr. Lungu to sort of low-key endorse anybody? Do you see him endorsing like specific people, or he's going to allow the Patriotic Front to have, absolutely democratic way of doing things? You can unmute yourself.
Yeah, I think, whenever you see confusion in any certain organization, it is an indication that there is lack of leadership, because where there is leadership, you need to coordinate yourselves, be able to give yourself chances, and also be able actually to understand that it is not everyone who can be in a certain position at any given moment. Only one individual actually comes up to assume a certain responsibility. So I don't think maybe Edgar Lungu will have solved the issues that PF actually had been having since the death of actually the founding father of PF, Michael Chilufya-Sata, because actually started from there, whereby everyone in the PF party, they always want to actually always be them. Every individual would want to be in a certain position at once. And actually that's what made the PF party to be weakened, because it started rotting from the inside before actually it even reached the outside, because of the lack of the understanding that each and every position in any particular organization, only one individual can fill up that position. So if I look at what is if I anticipate of what is going to happen if Edgar Lungu happens to actually relinquish the president's position, there will be a lot of language, because even we can hear a lot of rumors.
Yeah, but do you think he's going to specifically endorse specific people, or he's going to allow them to have like true democracy? Do you think he's going to have like, I don't know, influence the decision of whoever is going to be able to inherit that particular spot? And why is it important?
Yeah, you know, it might be that Edgar Lungu would always want to find somebody actually to pick up the responsibility of being a party president. But if we look at a democratic,
regardless of their popularity, because the reason why I'm bringing this up is we saw the way he sort of chose his running mate, Professor Nkanduluo. I'm sure that wasn't the popular, the best candidate for that particular role, but he specifically chose her and he stuck to his decision. He said, this is my choice, whether you like it or not. At this particular moment, I have the mandate to choose this specific person. So I do not really care about the general consensus. This is my choice. So do you think he's going to do the same with the incoming president of the Patriotic Front?
I think, Brother Muna, on the issue of him pointing at a specific individual to pick up his responsibility, it cannot work out, because it is actually a different thing. Him actually, on the issue of appointing a running mate, I'm sure he has that. He had that opportunity, because it is in the mandate of any political party to choose the running mate. But in the case where a sitting party president relinquishes the position, he or she has no power whatsoever to say, this is the person that I want to pick up my responsibility. The democratic actually mandate will take its course, where they will call for a convention and have individuals who are aspiring for that specific position to be voted. So if we say Edgar Lungu is waiting to find somebody actually who can pick up his responsibility and impose the responsibility on that individual, it is not going to work out, because it is against actually the party constitution in any political party.
Well, you think the Patriotic Front have got the capability of following the constitution of the political party when we saw them not following the Zambian constitution?
Yeah, actually it has been the trend since Sata died, where they always want to use shortcuts. But the advice that we can give to PF members, actually, if they think and if they feel they would want to rebrand the party and still maintain PF to be actually the strongest opposition of this country, they just have to start following the constitution, whereby they begin to take time, they begin to put into consideration actually matters of importance which can help them to stand. Otherwise, if they are going to follow the path of confusion, they are going to kill their political party. Actually, even before July, PF will become unpopular. And let me just talk about Edgar Lungu's actually insecurity to relinquish the position.
Why do you think he's got a lot of insecurity?
Yes. Edgar Lungu has got a lot of insecurity because of wrong advisors. The big man is surrounded with a lot of advisors who are feeding him with a lot of information. That's why actually, most of the times, Abafiashi compromises on his actually professionalism of him being a lawyer, because it is like he's being fed the wrong information to say, big man, if you happen to relinquish this position, immunity bala Mr. Strip off. But one thing, it is like he is still feeling comfortable to be there. He's still feeling like he is actually the Republican president. So
But I
there are
don't
a
think
lot
he's
of
feeling comfortable, Brother Jason, because he's barely making any appearances, and we're having all these situations. Raphael Nakacinda, if he's very comfortable, he would have showed up at the police office, you know, with a mattress, like the way Bowman Lusambo did. By the way, that was a crazy stand. We'll talk about that. But anyway, let's talk to Brother Chambo. We'll get back to you, Brother Jason. So, Brother Chambo, your contribution with regards to ECL, specifically endorsing a specific person.
I think he will. Basing
But
off,
why?
you know,
Why?
I can only judge him based off what I've seen, right? So, sorry, come again?
Yeah. Why would he want to do that? Because I really believe the PF youths have got specific people they would love to work with. And you see, this is a very complex issue because whoever is going to be left on that particular seat has to be somebody who can, you know, sell the political party after everything that has happened with the Patriotic Front. And remember, the PF youth have got an idea of who they can sort of get money out of, you know, because a lot of PF youth using those voice notes are always saying, you know, we want this particular candidate because he gives and dishes out money. So for the PF youths who are very vocal, a lot of them are looking out for their best interests in terms of who can give them resources. But it's about having the bigger picture of finding a person who's going to be able to sell the PF political party on a countrywide type of scale. So what do you think about that?
I think he will endorse somebody. I mean, going off even what you said, I mean, the vice president he endorsed, Madam
Kanduluo.
You know, that wasn't obviously a favorite person on the ground, but based on his terms, that was his favorite. You see, so I feel like based on his history, he is definitely gonna endorse somebody. That's where like the wrangles now are just gonna escalate. You know, as I said earlier. You know, the youth have their own people, you know, there's the Chishimbakambwili squad, there's this squad, there's that squad, you know, everyone's going to try and fit into one seat and try and get it for themselves. So I feel like that's where, you know, the death of PF might come, like the proper gone, nobody will care.
Now on the coffin type.
Yeah, you know. So I feel like he will endorse somebody based on his history, but if he's back to his senses, then he should,
but,
you know.
Don't you think he's back to his senses now that the instruments of power have disappeared? They have evaporated. Now he's back to like his regular self.
I feel like he is because he's been so quiet since he lost. He's just been so quiet. I only saw a video of him going to church. I think that was the only thing I saw after the election. So I feel like maybe if he's still surrounding himself with the people that he was in power with, then definitely he's going to endorse somebody for sure. You know, but if he's just, you know, home with his family, people that actually love and care about him, you know, want to see him succeed and be better, then I mean, I think he might make the right decision and, you know, just let the
but don't you think that would be selfish of him? Because, you know, to me, I really believe that him choosing to go with Nkanduluo was the most selfish thing he did. Yeah. You know, because he basically ruined the chance of PF standing at least somewhat of a chance. But he was selfish. He went against everybody's advice and he just stuck with his whatever motives. And that was selfish. Do you think the Patriotic Front are going to allow him to sort of put the Patriotic Front at risk of further, you know, just sinking in the ground?
I mean, I think they won't allow him, but how much can anybody else do? Because we've seen the way the other people endorse Lungu, you know, his counterparts. They endorse him so highly. He's like the heavenly father of PF. So even
but he's no longer as powerful as he was. Now he's like almost like a regular person. He's not as powerful.
Yeah, but I mean, he still has the talkative people on his side. I mean, in such things, you can talk. You know, you can get access sometimes just by talking. So I feel like as long as he has those people on his side, whatever decision he makes, he won't really care. Let's look at his regime ruling. he did things when he wanted to, how he wanted to, and whether we come and say, hey, Shani, you go there, you go and hit Kandolo, you know, things like that. So I feel like even if he makes a selfish decision and you know his party members don't like it, nothing else will be done. They'll just have to live with it. You know?
Definitely. So, brother Jason, finish your thoughts because I interrupted you. Sorry, by the way. And then we're going to move on to Bowman Lusambo. Then after we're done with Bowman Lusambo and the nullified MPs, we're going to talk about the clique of thieves stealing via subsidies. So conclude your thoughts on the ECL, pension and all that stuff. Unmute yourself.
Thank you so much, Brother Muna. I think if we can talk of Edgar Lungu always wanting to find somebody to endorse, to pick up his responsibility, then it is going to be apparent that the PF actually, they never learn from their mistakes actually, which killed the party from the inside out. You know, one of the things that the party should always look at is because of the confusion, you know. There is a trend in PF actually, which actually killed them, of always wanting to do things through confusion, you know, through actually using dubious means of actually doing things, of which it shouldn't be the case. The best thing that he can do is he has to relinquish the position and let the party, if he desires to see the party actually stand, let him relinquish and let him allow actually the aspirants, of course, to be voted on a fair ground. Because if he's some sort of trying to say, let me impose this, the party members to say, we need to vote for this one, then it will mean it will just be PF who continue being will continue being actually the seeking sand in opposition. So the best that he can do, let him step down and let him allow the party actually to follow the normal procedures on how they are going to install a new party president. Thank you so much.
So, Brother Jason and Brother Chambo, George Jacobson's Muviana raises a very good point. And I know we're just speculating because this is what we do. He says they didn't think that they will lose the game. The PF guys just want to drain him with his remaining money, which they invested in him. So here, the PF people know that Edgar Lungu still has got Akasaka Kandalama. So in order for PF to continue, running, they need somebody with money, and Edgar Lungu has got the money, so he still needs to be the president of the Patriotic Front.
Yeah. Sorry for interrupting, Brother Muna. I think what was observed by us, the onlookers in the PF party, is they always want to find somebody with some sort of a purpose whereby they can control, they can manipulate, whereby PF is some sort of installing you into a very influential position. But meanwhile, they know that even if we are on the ground, it is actually us to benefit. That's why if you add me, I mentioned the issue of the big man is been actually being fed the wrong information so that these people can continue sucking from that Akasaka Kandarama, you know, because it's like he's some sort of a father who actually agrees to whatever suggestion or whatever opinion a son can bring or a daughter. Is a sort of a father who says, I think Chishin Gecho Alanda, you know, without taking due consideration to say, are you sure of what you are talking about? You know, he's forgetting that actually he is surrounded with a lot of individuals who want to expose him and be able actually to cover them, because they know that Bamdala, Akasaka, but the big man is still with Akasaka Kandarama. So it is not necessary that even the PF members they would want Bamdala Ukufumapo and be able to release that position to either Chimbaka Mbwiri or any other who would want to aspire for that position, because they want somebody whom they can control to say, if we say this and that the big man is going to do this. That's why Muzambia inena limona abantu nga balekulumba sana chwali babwino. You need to sense danger because uko kulumba balekulumba chwali babwino nishi balekudrena, make sure ni baya. You just have to get at ibalendumbira my brother mone te akwe bati balendumba tina libabwino nishi baleliamo. I think that's what I can say.
Definitely. So, Brother Chambo, we're moving on to the next topic. Then we're also going to have Brother Regan. Let's talk about the fact that well-renowned Zambian lawyer, a creme de la creme, one of the best lawyers in Zambia, Makebi Zulu, opted to discontinue the case of Bowman Lusambo and other MPs. What does this entail? From a psychological perspective, from a political perspective, and overall, the future of the Patriotic Front. How are you interpreting this particular development?
Acceptance of defeat, to analyze the whole thing in one. I think they've accepted defeat because obviously I feel like maybe the lawyers for these guys were just pressured, like, hey, push this case, you know, and then the lawyers really just sat them down, like, you guys, look, there's no case here, you know. The law
but in the first place, in order for them to have found in that particular intention to sort of challenge the judgment of Mrs. Nelly Mutti, I believe they believed they had enough evidence, and based on the past, because a lot of people were referring to similar instances from the past, like for example, Margaret Monakato and Charlotte Scott, I believe they had a similar situation. But how come this time around, same Zambian constitution, but different outcomes?
I think it's like my brother said, brother Jacob, about, you know, them thinking they're still in power. They feel like they still have that connection because, like, obviously when they were in power, they obviously had some kind of connection with the jurisdiction and, you know, had ways to, you know, get things done whenever there's cases against their people. They had backdoor ways to get things out of the, you know, the courts and whatnot. So I feel like this one is that one where, you know, you feel like, I can win it, put the case in. And then, you know, when things you realize it's quite hot in here and you now try and get out, just be like, I think, let me just back off. You know, I think this is one of those cases. Because I can't think of any other thing apart from that, honestly. Like, they came so confident, thinking, you know, they're gonna win, and then all of a sudden they're backing out. Why? You know.
But Makebi Zulu now for like,
obviously,
I'm being petty. Sorry about that.
No, but it's true. I mean, it's true.
I'm being petty. Yeah. So anyway, Brother Regan, what do you think? Unmute yourself. Makebi Zulu, creme de la creme, Bowman Lusambo and them. Vazala, what do you think?
Vazala, big man, Mr. Muna. You know, these guys, what they have not realized is that they are still not in power. And when they got the defeat, they couldn't still believe. Even up to now, they have not believed. That's why they were behaving like they are still in power. You know, sometimes it's good to accept the defeat. Once you accept the defeat, and then you sit down and analyze and say, why did this thing come at this time? Why have you been defeated? Then what if they had accepted, they were not going to make so much noise. Those guys, you know, they realized, and the lawyers, they told them actually to say that, you know what, guys, you've got this case, you've got this case, you've got this case. So if you continue, there's a lot more that is going to come up, and it's going to wrap you, and you're not gonna escape. The only escape that you're gonna have is to go to jail. So for you to be free, it's rather you just surrender now, so that other things it mustn't come up. So that's the only solution at the moment. And you know, everything is clear when you look at how the country was being governed to the previous government. It was not even environmental free.
I understand, Brother Regan, and I really don't like talking about generic stuff. So I love tackling issues from a different angle. Let's do this.
Okay.
If you were a Bowman Lusambo and the other nullified MPs, what's next?
Yes. The next thing is if you know, I just humble myself. I'll stop that. It has, I've just humble myself, and life goes on normal. You know, accept the defeat.
Right,
you know,
but do you feel the lawyers sort of gave them false hope? Because I really believe that they were trusting on the judgment of the lawyers in order for them to, first of all, initially initiate that particular challenge. Number one, they were bitter, clearly. And number two, they had very good advice, legal advice from lawyers like Makebi Zulu. So in order for them to reach this particular, part of this development, it really means they are losing hope at this particular moment. So what do they do with regards to the coming re-elections? And by the way, do you know whether a person can be able to stand for the same nullified seat, or maybe other people need to take part? Do you know specifically about what the law says?
On that one, I'm not too sure, but I'm sure there should be another plan that they could have thought of, that, look, if we continue dragging this, you don't stop this, it will hinder you into other things. So maybe they are planning, standing or, pushing other people into that direction. Maybe that could be, because obviously there should be an option that they've been advised by the lawyer to say, no, look, guys, if you go this direction, it could end up this way. So let's rather, lose the seat for you maybe to get this. Maybe that could be the direction that they are taking. At the moment, no one knows, as in why they have done that,
Right. And do you think Miss Nelly Mutti, the National Assembly Speaker, do you think she's marked her territory? Do you think she has sort of inflicted, I don't know, fear? No, well, not really fear. That's a bad term. Do you think she's marked her territory as the new judge, or rather the new Speaker of the National Assembly, and she's capable of interpreting the law, and she understands what she's doing? What is the general perception of the Zambian citizens with regards to her? Because I believe, like her position, it was previously, conducted by males, and now she's a female. She's made a very, very controversial judgment, and she was right. So what's the general perspective of the citizens, and how does this influence her journey moving on?
That's the right person for that position. Look, that lady, she's more qualified. She's a lawyer, and she knows what she's doing. And she's not favoring no one. She's more qualified. She knows what she's doing. She's doing the right thing. She's not following, to looking at the face. When you do right thing, you have to, to be accepted that you've done right thing. If you've done wrong things, she's absolutely 100%. That's the best choice ever that Zambia maybe have ever had,
Right. So do you think Makebi Zulu is still going to be like a top-notch lawyer for the Patriotic Front? Because they will start saying, Makebi Zulu, Anyway, but don't sue us about Makebi Zulu. You don't need to answer that question. Brother Jason, come through, Brother Jason.
Yeah, thank you so much. I think personally, I've given credit to Ma'am Nelly Mutti, for the stance that she has taken. As a lawyer, you need to be taking time actually in processing certain information and certain actions. When it happened, when he saw Bowman Lusambo and the other guys appear in the National Assembly, she never reacted. She never reacted because it is like she had no clear she had no clear information on what is supposed to be done. Because I'm sure
Brother Jason,
she was also aware.
Before we continue, let's decipher that part. You brought up a very important point. When Bowman Lusambo and them reappeared in National Assembly, she didn't really bring up the topic, the issue. It was an MP who raised that particular question. Okay, so in this particular case, would you have preferred the National Assembly to initiate that particular stance from the get-go, rather than having an MP raise that particular question, then they sort of, start talking about it?
Yeah, I think, when you are not clear about certain issues, Brother Muna, sometimes, it is important to take some time. And
but that was
also,
after the fact that the MP raised that particular notion or question, saying, are these people mandated to be in parliament? She didn't initiate the process by herself. It took somebody to raise the question. Then that person gave it to Miss Nelly Mutti. Then Miss Nelly Mutti had to think about everything, and then she came up with a conclusive sort of decision. So would you have preferred her from the get-go without an MP raising that particular point to sort of bring this decision to fruition, if I can put it that way? You get my point? You get my question, right?
Yes, I get your point. It is like you are asking that, was it not better if Madam Nelly Mutti was the one actually initiating that motion before any member of parliament took a concern? I'm sure that's what you are asking.
Yes, that's my question.
Yeah. Madam Nelly Mutti, I'm sure she was much conscious of the precedents that actually happened between Maureen Mwanawasa and the Guy Scott and the like. So I'm sure in our knowledge, she thought maybe it was the right thing, because she looked at the precedents actually which happened in that particular case. But maybe after the advice, I'm sure that's when she said, no, let me go back and look what is supposed to be done. And I'm sure maybe after she went through the way the processions were done, she discovered maybe that there was an error. Yeah, there was an error. I'm sure if you are a brilliant judge, sometimes you need to look at certain cases, the way they were concluded. And if you discover that I don't have to follow this precedent, it is like, there is a judgment which was passed by this particular man who killed a certain man with a knife, whom he found maybe cohabiting with the wife. And there is this another man who killed a man actually on the street. You don't have to say, no, I'm going to pass the same judgment. These are different cases. So I'm sure that's what Madam Nelly Mutti did. She had to analyze the issue and discover that, I'm sure, these are two different things. And I cannot bank on the precedents actually which happened. It was full of error, because if you look at the previous regime, they are full of interference in other bodies of governance. So it was actually a brilliant move for Madam Nelly Mutti to wait and to have time and to also look at what other people could have said over that issue. Yes, I think that's what I can say, Brother Moon. I don't know.
Right, definitely. So, Brother Moses, before you give us your generic contribution, listen to the question. I hate generic contribution. So, Brother Moses, listen to my question. If the Speaker of the National Assembly, Miss Nelly Mutti, initiated that particular, debacle, do you think she would have appeared partisan?
No, she couldn't.
Explain.
Yes. The reason why I've said so, because when you are wise, maybe you underline that word. When you are wise, sometimes don't take things quickly, but you need to at least give chance or give time so that you observe. Like MP in the parliament, those are called the lawmakers. So maybe the Madam Mutti understood, and she understand the law, but she wants to see if these lawmakers really follow up whatever happens. And it didn't happen just there and then. The very day Mr. Lusambo went in the parliament, it took maybe a day or 2 days, somewhere there, if I may follow it very well. That's where the MP raised the point of order, and she deserved that ruling. It also took maybe 3 or 4 days or a week, like that. Then that's how
Correct.
she came.
Now, Brother Jason, Brother Moses, explaining what we already know. We had generic contributions, But anyway, Mwinga Tendai says, gentlemen, understand how Parliament operates. She cannot initiate that because she's the convener or rather chair to moderate the deliberations of the House. And then we had Brother Chindo coming through saying she did not want to appear partisan. Okay, so anyway, Brother Moses, give us your generic contribution so that I'm fair. What was your generic contribution?
Those comments, I've read them. But what I say, as the Speaker of the National Assembly, she has that mandate. Even there and then, if she sees that something is not well, but she cannot just there and then decide. No, she needs to be like a parent at home, you see, to take time and observe. Are these children of mine or these people I stay with following the rules and law of this house? That's what she did, which is a very wise, brilliant one. I think.
All right. Thanks for your generic contribution, Brother Moses. I'm playing. Anyway, who's got the contributions? Brother Tiki are just rolling through. What's your contribution? Unmute yourself.
Good evening, Brother Muna, and good evening, fellow panelists, and the rest of Zambia and the world.
Good evening.
Yeah. I think the speaker did her homework because, like the others have said, it took days before we could see any action being taken, despite the court judgments. And for me, we had a system or leaders under the Patriotic Front who really bent the law towards their favor, okay? So that if we follow a number of situations where Speaker Matibini had given rulings, it was in most cases only favorable to the Patriotic Front and unfavorable to the opposition, and that is why we saw the opposition on countless times protesting and walking out of Parliament, okay, based on those rulings. But if we are going to use Speaker Matibini's rulings to judge Speaker Mutti's, I think we'll be doing ourselves a disservice. I've seen this conversation on a number of forums on Facebook where people are trying to compare the two, but we know it's the 1.8 trying to make that comparison. But I think the speaker is on track, and that is only proven by the withdrawal by the 9 members of Parliament whose seats were nullified. Okay.
Actually,
because
8. One of them, the total nullified MPs are obviously 9. Is that correct, right? But only 8 decided to, sort of challenge the speaker's decision. I hope I'm not mistaken. How many nullified MPs did we have? 9, right? Is it 9 or 8?
9.
9. But only 8. Yeah, but only 8 challenged the speaker's decision. So one of these was like, I'm too smart for this. I understand this is not going to go anywhere. Let me not show my ignorance and waste money. So that one person, who is that one person? We need to give a round of applause to that particular person. So anyway, Brother Tiki, before you go on giving us generic things, let's talk about the political landscape and how it changes everything with this particular decision. Do you think this is a decision that is going to, or rather that has changed the mood and the confidence of the Patriotic Front? The discontinuation of this particular challenge?
I think reality has been slow on these guys. It's for the rest of Zambia. Reality dawned on us when we had a different election outcome, contrary to the predictions that were there. Okay, so for our guys in the PF, our friends in the PF, it seems reality hasn't yet dawned. Okay, and that is why we had the 8 challenging the decision of the High Court and challenging the Speaker. But then there one comrade who decided not to pursue this matter in court, who was smart enough to actually say, okay, you know what, let's save ourselves the embarrassment. I hope this is a wake-up call to the Patriotic Front, so that they stop thinking as though they're still in power and they can have their way anytime. But this time around, the law is just. The different agencies and institutions are independent. Okay, there's no longer an invisible hand. So the Patriotic Front must realize that they are no longer in power, and they can no longer bend things in their favor, laws in their favor, but they need to come to the realization that, you know what, we have laws, and this is what needs to be done. We have regulations around election malpractice, and the consequences are these. Okay, for example, how do we have a candidate go through and contest an election with no grade 12 qualification whatsoever? Okay, and then when the law visits them, somebody should cry foul. I think the PF need to wake up and be truthful to themselves. Okay, as Zambians were truthful to them by showing them the exit door. I think it's high time they get truthful to themselves, so that they can rebrand if they need to rebrand.
Correct. Brother Tiki, moving on forward, right? If there is a provision for re-election, do you think people like Bowman Lusambo have got the financial power and even the will to recontest? Because now I'm sure he's lost a lot of connections and he's lost relevance. He's not really as influential as he was. So do you think Bowman Lusambo would want to recontest the Kavushi seat, knowing that there is a 70% chance of him losing? Do you think he's going to go to that extent?
Looking at the ones that challenged that decision in the courts of law, I'm sure they still do want to stand and contest. But I think ultimately the party needs to get wise enough in making sure that these people do not stand. And also, I think the constitution that they signed in 2016 bars anybody to still contest that seat if the election has been nullified. So once the election dates are set for these particular seats, the candidates that had contested and their elections were nullified, I do not think they qualify to recontest.
Definitely.
Yes.
All right. So, gentlemen, there's a question here. Jairus Fumpa says, Brother Muna, I'm somehow lost. There are 2 active cases. Number 1, there was an appeal against High Court judgment. Number 2, PF MPs challenged the Speaker over her decision for MPs to remain in the House until the appeal is exhausted, in my opinion. Which one has been discontinued? Can anybody answer that? I believe the one which, yeah, Brother Moses, go on. Unmute yourself.
Yes, the one which has been discontinued is against the ruling of the Madam Speaker.
Exactly. Definitely. So
Yeah.
as you can see right over here, Brother Jairus, in the comment section, this is your answer. According to Zambia reports, right? Lusambo, 7 others drop case against Speaker. So to answer your question, number 2, and I really believe number 1, I think that one is already, it's already solidified. The High Courts sort of nullified them. So I don't really believe any of these gentlemen questioned, the decision of the High Court. So I really believe they have definitely been nullified. And what's next is obviously re-election, or elections have to take place one more time. So, gentlemen, should we move on to the next topic? Has everybody exhausted their points with regards to Bowman Lusambo and them? Because today's or rather the next topic is going to be about the fuel subsidies and how the clique of thieves were becoming ultra wealthy. And a lot of Zambians were saying, in Zambia, people have got money. This is the general statement from Zambians. In Zambia, people have got money. But look at what was happening. Anthony Bwalya did give us a forensic breakdown of how the subsidies were actually benefiting 2% or even less than 2% of the population. A few people, the clique of thieves, were taking advantage of the subsidies that the government was spending, or rather providing, using our money. But before we get into that particular topic, viewers, I want to remind you to hit the like button. I can see there's some people coming through, joining us. If you haven't had the time to help us grow the platform, kindly share the video and hit the like button. We need to have about 1,000 likes. We need 1,000 likes. At this particular moment, we only have 800 likes. So we are short of 200 likes. So if you haven't liked this video, kindly smash the like button, hit the like button right now. And we are only having 564 shares. We need to have at least 700 shares before we conclude tonight's topic. So gentlemen, Brother Jason, go on, and then we're going to have Brother Chambo. So talking about the subsidies, first of all, give me your opinions, and then we'll have questions later.
Yeah, I think it is important actually to explain what subsidy means actually to the general public, because most people, they don't understand this animal subsidy. You know, subsidy, these are funds actually which are given by the central government or the government actually to pay for certain products, so that those products, they are sold at a lesser price than they should. I don't know if I've explained that. Subsidy kubale tumfwako for those in the corners of Nchelenge, Kawambwa, Amwense, Kaputa and the like. Subsidy tulelando kwebati. Nindalama esho buteko bubonfya. Ukwebati bwamilipilirako nga mufiro kulipira obunga pali 200 kwacha. Elo government yasala ndatawe twala babikira kwa ma citizen 100 kwacha, so that imwe ma suppliers babunga mulesha pali 100 kwacha. So that's what it means. So now look at the explanation that actually the big man gave to us, the way subsidy was being handled during the reign of PF. Actually, it is common knowledge, it is well known by actually most Zambians to say, these guys, they banked on inflating of prices of commodities to the extent that it was way out of hand. What used to happen actually, according to the explanation that I got, was instead of awarding a contract to somebody who is cheaper, PF was usually preferring somebody who was charging the higher price. The idea behind that was, if they pick on somebody charging the higher price, they are going to, they would share actually that extra money that would come with that higher charge on that particular commodity. So what used to happen was they picked actually on somebody who charged the higher price on the supply of fuel. And that even made these guys actually to make the fuel to be so expensive. So according to my own understanding, if the New Dawn government is saying that they are going to engage somebody to supply fuel on that higher, on that lower price, it means I'm sure we are not going to have the adjustment way out of hand on the prices of fuel. Because actually, most people, they are having fear to say, if they scrape off subsidy, then it will mean we are going to have fuel charging actually costing on the higher price. So what the members of public should understand is that actually this government is helping us by exposing these guys, because most of us, we had a lot of fear to say, now if fuel prices are going to be up, Wow, how are we going to survive? Because we saw it in the direction whereby if they are going to scrape off subsidy, then it will mean instead of buying petrol at 17 kwacha, it will be maybe somewhere like 37 kwacha and the like. But after receiving this explanation on how subsidy was being done, on how the contracts of actually supplying fuel was done, I'm sure personally as a businessman, actually I'm seated and I'm comforted because we are sure that the New Dawn government, they are going to do the needful, whereby they are going to award the contract to somebody who is going to charge on the supply of fuel with that lower price. They are not going to engage somebody with an inflated actually charge. So most Zambians, we are urging you to say, I think this is a good move, and actually it has helped us actually to learn a lot of tricks that PF used to operate with, because it worried a lot of us actually, because we thought that imitengo sha shala that's what we thought. But after learning that guys, but they were not fair enough to majority Zambians, despite them engaging actually the contractor who charged the higher price. They also added the issue of subsidy, and which even made most Zambians to say, no, I think UPND government is not going to do the right thing if they are going to scrape off the subsidy. So in my own view, I'm seeing fuel not going to be more expensive as we assumed earlier on, but it is going to be fair enough to the sustenance of every Zambian, because we never had this information that it was actually a result of engaging somebody who charged the higher price on the subsidy of fuel. So that's no wonder we are saying that we need to give proper information actually to these our brothers and sisters, especially in the deepest corners of Zambia, because I just received my mother. You can get something from the explanation. We are having a majority of Zambians actually who get the information the way it comes. We don't take time actually to question, to say, what are these guys talking about? We don't have that. If they say, no, actually, HH is planning to make Zambia as a one-party state, they take it like that. But this is what we are talking about, that we need to make sure that we engage the citizens on the ground. Like what happened today, we had the spokesperson to the president. He came live and be able to explain what was happening.
Yes. Well, Jason, speaking about the spokesperson, let me just play the clip, a shorter version, and then we'll get back to the conversation. In the meantime, Chambo, just round up your thoughts, and we're going to have that discussion. So let's listen to Anthony Bwalya explain this according to him, because we want the people to be on the same page with us, and then we'll pick up the conversation.
Subsidies on fuel and energy. People are expecting to have a better standard of living, so cost of business going down and so forth. How does this affect those two?
So, for the past 10 years, you and I and the Zambian people were told that subsidies were on fuel and electricity because it was benefiting us. That's what we're told. Now, every month, the previous regime was spending $67 million subsidizing fuel, and another $40 million subsidizing electricity. In total, $107 million per month. On an annual basis, $1.3 billion. Now, this is money we did not have, by the way. This is money that was being borrowed expensively from outside. It comes in, then your government sits. And they say, we are not going to employ teachers. We are going to subsidize fuel. We are not going to employ nurses and doctors. We are going to subsidize fuel. We are not going to pay pensioners their retirement benefits. We are going to subsidize fuel. We are not going to pay CDF or equalization fund. We are going to subsidize fuel. We are not going to allow our kids to go to school. We are going to subsidize fuel. We are going to let the poor die because there's no food security support. We are going to subsidize fuel. The only problem was this, which the Zambian people don't know.
So yeah, before we continue, Brother Chambo, do you think due to the fact that the subsidies have been removed and a lot of people have been employed, as per explanation of Anthony Bwalya, right? Do you feel it balances out the equation? Subsidies have been removed and more people have got access to, active work, thereby making them sort of be able to face that particular question of potential expensive prices, because now the government has been able to sort of hire more teachers, more health personnel, and there's fewer people who are unemployed. Do you feel that really balances out the equation of removing subsidies, which, by the way, were never in the first place benefiting the majority of Zambians? I think I can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, you're good to go now.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, loud and clear. Go on.
You can hear me?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Good.
I think it's my headphones. Sorry. So I think yes and no. Yes, in the sense that, the money is going to be diverted into, people's salaries, them getting jobs, getting a salary. So, it may balance the equation in terms of like basic necessities, yes, but other stuff, I don't think so, So yes and no to that question. Yes and no.
All right. Regan, what do you think?
Okay,
Unmute
let
yourself.
me okay.
All right, you can go on.
Okay. I think the looking at the subsidies, if you really understand what it means and the direction which the Don government has taken, I think that's a brilliant idea because it's helping out a lot of people, creating employment. And when you look at how subsidy was used in the previous government, I don't think all the money that they were borrowing were being used to subsidize the fuel and electricity. No, that was going somewhere else. It was being diverted into other things. Now, this is the right direction and the right way to use the money that you don't even have. You understand? Because now there is somebody somewhere there who never used to have food is going to have food. Today, there's somebody who was not employed is being employed. As I'm speaking, my father was a lecturer. Up to now, he hasn't gotten his pension, and even the papers are lost because of the same thing. You understand? A lot of people that I can mention, they have not yet gotten pension because of diverting some resources which were supposed to be used properly. So the new Dawn government, we just need to take time and see the direction. They are taking things in the right direction. And they're opening up more Zambians. They are being, the government is so wonderful in such a way that, it's too open to everybody. Today we've got this, freedom of speech because of the Dawn government. And they're even, telling the people, look, we are going to do 1, 2, 3 because of that. But in the previous governments, you never know about this. You just hear that, oh, we are subsidizing this. You don't know about the figures. If you are to hear of the figures, it's just exaggerated figures. So what we're saying, this is the right direction, and this should just continue. So that at least, yeah.
So, Mr. Chola, we have another scenario that we need to factor in. The kwacha has appreciated. So does that further sort of validate the point of removing subsidies? And let's say, for example, the kwacha continues to appreciate in value. And do you feel that there isn't going to be any impact on the price of fuel and other fuel in this particular case, or any other subsidized commodities if the kwacha continues to continue appreciating? Do you think we're going to reach a threshold where we just basically have either the same prices or even lower prices?
What we need to understand, Mr. Mona, is that there are some factors that makes kwacha to appreciate or go down. So when you look at forex, there is other things, the GDP and all those things of that makes the currency to go up, and the political influence in your career. So when you look at that, kwacha is now appreciating what the government is doing. That is the main thing. It's looking at it that the political is getting stable in the country despite other things, and also we're going in the right direction. So that makes the kwacha to appreciate. And when you look at affecting the fuel, that the more the kwacha going up, we're gonna have more high price of fuel, or it will go down. The more the kwacha appreciates, probably the fuel will also go. It will go down, definitely. It will go down.
Mhm.
It's like when you're trading in forex. When you look at the euro pairs, I hope most people are conversant. I'm sorry, guys. I'm gonna use this example because I'm probably teaching forex. When you look at forex, when gold is going up, it doesn't move the same direction with the USD pairs. They go opposite direction. You understand? So
Yeah, there's
when you
an
look at
inverse correlation.
Yes. So when you look at how kwacha appreciates, kwacha, there is a lot of factors in the country that needs to be done for the kwacha to appreciate. You're looking at agriculture, it needs to, rate of employment. Just by announcing that they are employing, the government is employing more people so much, kwacha has to appreciate automatically. Just by saying that no, we are reducing poverty by so much, kwacha has to appreciate. Just by looking at the stability of the political party or in that country, kwacha or the currency of that country will appreciate. But if there is no stability of politics in that country, there is no way kwacha will appreciate. It will just be going down. So these are some of the factors that people must understand and must not get scared. So if as soon as we see the new Dawn government is heading in the right direction, we must not get scared, because those kwacha, when you look at it critically, it can even appreciate more than this. It can appreciate more than this as long as the new Dawn government is advancing to the right direction, and on which I've seen it's the right direction. Because most people, when you look at in Zambia, there are very few people who understand these things. I remember, I don't want to mention the minister was being asked why the price of oil was going up. He answered something else, only that I've lost the clip and I was laughing. If only he understood, forex, he could have understood even much better. Even when he goes there, he'll be able to explain those things. So, Petro will probably come down as well, and kwacha, as long as it will appreciate more, and as the government is focusing in all this employment, squashing the poverty to the people, make sure that it's not only the child in Lusaka who eats, but the child in Kaputa, in Mwinilunga, they need to look that child who eats also. That counts much. Look at the rate of employment. You understand? So also those things, we are heading in the right direction. And what I can also advise is that people need to accept that we've lost, and we don't need to fight. And the freedom that we've been given, we don't need to misuse it. This is the right time that Zambians should even come together and get advice. Now people, they just speaking through their heart, not their brains. Zambia is a very small country on which we can see the level of poverty should just be reduced within a short period of time, looking at the resources which Zambians has at hand. So that's what I can say, Mr. Mona.
Thanks, Mr. Chola. So a comment coming through from Mr. Punga Shamboko. He says PF was buying fuel at inflated prices. So the new Dawn will spend those savings on the needs of Zambians. If the kwacha appreciates in the long run, commodity prices will also go down. So let's continue listening to Anthony Bwalya. Then we're going to have Brother Moses chime in, and then we're also going to have Brother Chembo, then Brother Jason. So let's listen to this, then we'll talk on the other end.
Subsidy was not for you, my friend. It was not for you. I have been privileged to look at where the so-called subsidy was going on fuel.
Where was it going?
When you look at the structure of your pump price, there are transportation costs in there. Transportation. That subsidy was going towards paying for transportation costs on fuel. Now, two things you need to know about transportation costs for fuel. Number one, they were inflated by over 200%. Okay, that's number one. Number two, the people who owned the vehicles that were moving fuel were your ministers in government. They connived with their friends, foreigners, to be borrowing expensive money. They bring it into the country. Rather than employing teachers, they say, no, we need a subsidy on fuel, right? Except that subsidy was going towards paying for transportation of fuel when they knew full well that the tankers were theirs. They knew that. And you can clearly see why the motivation. Because when you look at the broader scheme of things anyway, over 60% of both fuel and electricity in this country is not used by poor people. It's not. Poor people in this country only consume 2% of both fuel and electricity. Did you know that? 2%. The rest of it is industrial use, principally the mines. But for 10 years, they made us all believe that the subsidy was for us. It was not for us. This is why they were getting rich. You and I were getting poor. They were getting rich. You a teacher, you are not employed. They were getting rich. You and as a doctor, you're not employed. They are getting rich. Whilst our parents were sleeping in the rain at Ministry of Justice, crying for their pension benefits. When this president comes in, and
yeah, so he basically gets to explain the role that these people were playing with regards to stealing from the people of Zambia. He highlighted transportation costs, over inflated prices, transportation costs. And by the way, do you remember those fuel tankers that were heavily purchased? Do you remember those fuel tankers? That was the same clique of thieves. Do you see the connection, right? Everything that Anthony Bwalya explained, the fuel tankers, the transportation costs, this was all for their benefit. And he also said that these ministers owned the procurement process, the procurement business. So it was double tovela from them. They were benefiting in all ends, all angles, all fronts. These people were benefiting heavily. And this is where people became ultra wealthy. And people of Zambia were saying, but in Zambia, people have got money because of these loopholes. Gentlemen, what do you think about this particular pronouncement from Anthony Bwalya? Give me your take and just say whatever you want. Just let it all out. You're free to give any answer. Just give your opinion on whatever Anthony Bwalya said. Brother Moses, you can go. You can go first. 90 seconds, then we'll have Brother Chembo, then Brother Jason. 90 seconds, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes, brother. I think Mr. Bwalya is right. These people were crooked. It were a plan where they made of stealing money from us Zambians, whilst we are suffering. Because if I may remember very well, they used to say this subsidy is helping maybe Zesco and food, but electricity has been increasing almost tariffs every after maybe 2-3 months, no difference. So if we may also compare today and previous, before this government had to remove this subsidy, we are purchasing electricity at is it 1 kwacha 80 ngwe, something like that. That was just the same, even when the subsidy was there. So it was just a way of earning wealth from us Zambians. So I think it's a good move, and I support it. Let us, the Zambian, wake up, and when we see something happen like this, then we come out and we talk. And we thank you that this government has brought the freedom of speech, whereby when we say, or people of Zambia say, then the government is there to act. Just like what happened yesterday, when the UPND protest over Nakacinda PF or whatever, let me not use it. But with there, and I hope today we are to see reaction from the Antonio and others. That's what we want, because when something long is long, we condemn it, all Zambians, so that at least it is being fixed in a good manner and benefit to the Zambians. Okay, as for now.
All right, thanks, Brother Moses. Brother Chambo, your contribution, Anthony Bwalya's proclamations, eye-opening stuff. What do you think?
First of all, finally we're getting answers. Like,
what a breath of fresh air.
You know, I remember the president making so many pronouncements in his statement saying, you know, high procurement of things, what. Finally, we're getting answers. I mean, this says it all, really. I mean, it explains why the country was just going down economically. You know, basically 2% of the whole country benefited from this. 2%, bro. 2%.
Let me do the quick math while you're talking. What's 2% of roughly 18 million? While you're talking, let me do the math.
Like, we have to like no, man, it's not acceptable. It's like a joke, honestly. 2% out of 18 plus people. I mean, how selfish do you have to be? What kind of
best 360,000 privileged people were able to benefit out of the 18 million, roughly?
Yeah, that's basically a few families, you see.
Right.
I mean, no, I don't even know what to comment with this on it. I'm shocked. I think I should go watch that whole video because I haven't seen the whole thing.
Yeah, you should watch the whole interview. He really broke everything down, like to the dot. Oh man. Yeah. But anyway, sorry, continue.
I feel disappointed, first of all, but I'm relieved that this is coming out now, because like I would now really like to see what the PF have to say. Because everything the president came out and talked about, they came out and condemned. Now that Bambo choka much, it's really puzzling. Like, my mind is still blown right now at the fact that only 2% of the whole country was benefiting from this.
Yeah, so Brother Chambo, do you believe this is one strategy of deneutralizing the Patriotic Front? Because I really believe the majority of people who are benefiting are active Patriotic Front members. So do you think the subsidy removal is in fact going to choke the financial muscles of the Patriotic Front in the long run as well?
For sure. And I don't think this will just end with the Patriotic Front. I feel like, you know, certain individuals out of the political scene are going to start unveiling them, and they'll start coming to light in terms of being part of these deals, because that's just a whole lot of money. You make over 200% profits.
And on top of that, look, here's the deal. The prices, the procurement prices were overinflated. That's one. Then you're also transporting the same subsidized commodities. And then you're also having other businesses on top of that. So they are getting money from all ends, from a lot of different angles.
it's mind blowing, really. I mean, how selfish do you have to be, honestly? Because like I'm currently in South Africa here, and you know this fracas that's been going on about Zuma and whatnot.
Yeah.
So I was having a conversation with friends, I think like about a week ago or so, and we were talking about how the economy was under Zuma. You know, people were like, we know Zuma used to steal, but the economy was good, bro. Like everything was good. People were happy, everything was cheap, and life was not expensive. And then I'm listening to this, and it's like, wait, can't you take some strategy? I mean, if you want to steal, I mean, I'm not condoning stealing or anything. It's bad. Don't do it. But at least have a heart, bro. Have a heart for once. Like I don't even think I will ever respect anybody from PF, especially these guys who are still there talking about rebranding and whatnot. It's the same faces. It's like mocking the Zambian people and telling us we're fools. You know, yeah, the same people who came on the television and told us no, things are this, things are that. You know, now you're telling us this, and somehow you're still on the political scene, acting like, you know,
Like nothing happened.
oh,
It's
man,
business as
it's
usual.
mind-blowing. It's mind-blowing, bro. Like, I don't know. If this is politics, then ish, I don't know what the future holds for us. But
Right,
yeah,
right.
anyway, I feel like that's what I like to say for now.
All right.
I'm still mind-blown.
Thanks, brother Chambo. So, brother Jason, are you there? You're in the background somewhere.
Yes, I'm
Yes.
here.
Give us your
Actually-
conclusive contribution about the fuel subsidy.
Yeah, I think, Brother Mona, if we look at Anton Bwalya's explanation and eye-opening actually on how subsidy was being done by the previous regime, you know, that's where you can see the selfishness of the previous regime. That's where you can even trace how the Kalimanshi were even brought on board just to try to disturb whosoever come into play and try to oppose their deals. So if we look at this one, that's why, you know, it is very important actually to be able to educate the members of public in this manner, because these informations, actually these deals, the subsidies and the like, none of the Zambians knew about these deals. We all know, we could just see things getting escalating, and we didn't know what was happening in the background. So now it is important actually for the members of the public to understand that actually the reason why we went through the things that we went through, the reason why we saw the inflation on the prices of commodities and other things, it was as a result of what actually Anton Bwalya talked about. Because, you know, even the international community, they lost confidence in Zambia. We lost the investors because they looked at the mischiefs which were being done by this government. So they said, why should we go and invest in this type of leadership? So that's why most of them, they had to withdraw. So I'm urging actually the UPND to say, let them continue educating the members of the public on how things were being done. Because, you know, most Zambians, they were in darkness. They didn't know what was happening. But this information, actually, it is an eye-opener. Every Zambian, actually, they have gotten one or two things of what was happening. And some of the fears which were cropped in people, I'm sure it has even dropped, because people are thinking to say, how much are we going to be getting this fuel and the like? But after this explanation, you know, it has comforted some people. Some people actually, they have rested because they thought that maybe this thing of fuel subsidy and the like, it will be something else. So personally, I'm just applauding the current government to say, let them continue with the transparency so that people are able to know what is obtaining on the ground. Even when these guys full of politicking comes on board, they'll be able to decide to say, no, what they are saying is not true. What is true is what is happening, what we are hearing, what we are getting these people are trying to tell us. I think that's what.
All right, I think we also lost him. Brother Moses, so your contribution, conclusive one.
Okay. Hello?
Yes, we can hear you. Go on.
Yeah, on quite appreciation, I concur with my brother there, who have just from talking. It's true. This time, foreigners, investors, they have confidence in our country, Zambia, in this new dawn and the president currently. So that's why we have seen this appeal. I remember, if I may recall very well, in Mwanawasa during MMD, Kwacha appreciated almost to 2 Kwacha, if I'm not mistaken, somewhere there. The reason was very simple, because it touches on corruption. He was a kind of a reader whom, when he's coming, even dropping from the airplane where he went abroad, when he hear that some of the minister was misbehaving, just there and then fired. Mr. Rupando Mwape was fired. Mr. Nevas Mumbazi, president by then, was fired. So that made that leadership to boost our economy in this country. So even this new dawn, let us focus on the pronunciation and also active in terms of fighting corruption, good governance, and working for the people, living standard, to improve the living standard of us. It's also a plus to appreciation of the culture. I think I read my guess there.
All right. Okay. Thank you, and have a good night, Brother Moses. We're concluding now. Brother Reagan, give us your conclusive, contribution.
All right. The conclusive. Did I mute my?
Yeah, muted now. Unmute yourself. And put your camera like in an eye on. You need a better place. We can't see you. And yeah, the angle is weird. Go on and mute yourself and then give us your contribution. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, go on.
All right. Okay. What I like about the new Dawn government is that the transparency is there, and this is what is gonna transparency is there, and this is what is going to attract investors in the country, and that is also one of the key factors that you see the Kwacha appreciating like never before. You see, and also you're looking at how the president is tackling on corruption. I mean, you cannot get rich on top of someone's head who is suffering. Then you keep siphoning and all that, So all the issues that he's tackling, that's very good and very clear. I mean, without the new Dawn government, me and you, Mr. Mona, we can't speak like that. We should have been arrested by now. If it was in the previous government, what are you talking about? But this government, they have come openly. They want to work with the people, and they want to show the people that, look, this is the right way, this is the wrong way. But it's very difficult for people to understand that we are heading the right direction at the moment, because if you are used in other things that was wrong, and you are thinking those were the right way of living, you accepted that. If you accepted poverty and you thought poverty was the way, that's where now you see that it becomes very difficult to do the turnaround. When you read the book that Rich Dad Poor Dad, you understand the concept where the poor father was saying, go to school, that's when you become rich. But when you look at the rich dad said, no, it's not about education. You can become a millionaire even if you are not educated. So this is something that every Zambian can appreciate. When you look at Zambia is starting to shape now for us business to do business nicely there. You couldn't do business well in Zambia previously. It was something else. Look at now we're looking at people that are going to be employed that were neglected. Somebody graduates from the University of Zambia. I mean, you find him Pat Sokone is selling cooking oil. He's got no job. Somebody who was just from the street is somebody that is being promoted. So education eventually started losing value. Now it's high time that education is also being promoted and respected, that whoever's got paper is the one that is going to deserve this job. We nearly reached the level whereby we had cadres as ministers, who never deserved it. So where do you think somebody who has not deserved to be somebody as a minister, can lead the way? You can't. So we glad that the new Dawn government is shaping the country slowly but sure, and the people who are trying to confuse it, eventually they will understand that we can't beat them. What we do, let's join them and work together, because that's all about. Even when I look at most of the people that want to be the president, I want to stand this, they're all just worried about their stomach. Because really, most of the people that want to stand in opposition and forming the party, they're the people who are in the government, in the previous 3 governments to come. And they didn't change nothing even that time, you understand? But what is it that they're going to change if they become president, which they never changed when they worked their lives to be ministers? They became MPs and what. They never advised when they had power. So those are the things that we need to understand. At the moment, there's no need to fight in Zambia. These people it's high time they need to realize and understand that, it's not about me becoming a president, but it's about me supporting the new government so that we can work together for the betterment of Zambians at large. Because if all the people we come, look at the other government for Manawasa, what he introduced, that farming. You know what it brought about, Kwacha? It brought a lot of things. Now, when you look at Uganda, we have been to Uganda, 2-3 months back. When you look at that old man, how he has done into agriculture, my man, even in South Africa here there is food in South Africa, but 90%, I don't want to lie to you, they are GMOs. There in Uganda, my man, there is food, natural food, and it's plenty. Though other areas, you can see that here and there it's like that. That is what we can do to Zambia. Let's look at agriculture sector. We intensify it. We grow maize throughout the year. The staple food of Uganda and Tanzania, those are bananas. You find bananas you can eat bananas lunch, supper. They are everywhere. If we do that, you see how Zambia will change within a short period of time. And no one will even say, no, look, we're going to go and borrow money to come and do this. Everything will start paving the way. So I think at the moment, we must leave the government, the new Dawn government, to just lead the way. And these people are making noise. We leave them, because some people, they are just, argumentative without even, they just want to make noise and disturb others who are working. So we've seen the direction, and we just need to wait. And the new government must pave the way so that, most of the Zambian, people who are suffering the remote area can be recognized. You understand? Yeah.
Thanks, brother Reagan. We're concluding the show. So yeah, talk to you tomorrow, same time, 8 p.m. Zambian time. Have a good night. Bye.
Bye. Thanks.
All right. So, brother Chambo, give us your concluding remarks. Anything you would love to tackle and talk about. It's free flow at this particular moment. Just let it all out. 2 minutes.
Not much really from me. Just finally we're getting answers, first of all. I feel like people out there are still, not comfortable with the way HH is doing things. Guys, let's be united, let's be patient, and let's keep our minds busy. A lot of us spend a lot of time on social media, busy commenting on things that actually won't even help our lives. Let's stay busy, and let's help our country get to the next level. It's only us who can take it there. HH is just our leader. It's up to us to take it there. And yeah, God bless Zambia. God bless everybody. Yeah.
All right. Thanks, Brother Chambo. We are definitely going to be expecting you tomorrow and, participate, be regular. Thank you. Have a great time. Enjoy Mzansi.
I'll be here every time.
All right. Take care. All right. So, Brother Oscar, you're the last man standing. I can see Kevin Chisandi joining us, but unfortunately, we're not allowing any more people to come through. So, Kevin Chisandi, join us tomorrow, 8 p.m. same time. So, Brother Oscar, your conclusive remarks. I know you're just joining, but I need to go and sleep. So move with the call to say.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. No, thank you so much. I've been following the program, and I think what I can say is we need to give them time, and I think I would just appeal to our brothers and sisters who followed the PF and who are following probably the PF even up at now. I think we need to turn the page. We need to turn the page. There is no need to fight this new president. He needs the support of all Zambians. Already he has given the 4 months that he has been in presidence, he has given the sign that he is working for all of us. Look at the appointments. Look at the way he is taking care even of those who really persecuted him. And I can understand the leaders in the PF, they find it very hard to believe that this person has done away with commanding the whole country, but he has done the separation of the judiciary, the legislation, and the other. They are distinct, so there is no that confusion. There's no confusion. There's no in any time when you are waiting for a phone call from somewhere. I think let's help. We help him shape the country. There are some of the things that probably needs to be polished up, like Mr. Mona, the contracts with the new contracts with the mines and the accountability in the mines. Just as who is this? The spokesperson to our president, Anthony. Just like Anthony was saying, he explained very clearly regarding the IMF. He has explained very clearly regarding the petroleum and the subsidies. Okay, the removal of the subsidies. He explained very clearly how I would love, how I would wish Anthony and the people who are working with the president to explain clearly and thoroughly the deals around the mines. There is something that we don't understand on the deals regarding the mines and the business of running our mines. And I hope if they clear with the IMF, they clear with the subsidies. I think the other point that the president should also focus is to really make it clear what is going on our mines. What are the percentages the country is benefiting and the like. And of course, other issues is the 48, the Forest 27 thing, the Mukura saga, all those sectors. I think if we give him some time, we hope they are going to tackle all those issues and they don't just sweep them under the carpet. So, well, I'm proud. I'm not going to say I'm happy that these guys have been. They have lost this and that, but well, that's what they were sowing. They were sowing uncertainty, lies, and these are the consequences. It's not that the Zambians now they hate them. No, when you cheat the people, you reap something very, very, very sour and bitter. Thank you, Mr. Mo.
All right. Today, you've been very precise and brief. Now, Papa, what happened? Are you sick? Are you okay?
No, I'm okay.
This is not the usual, Brother Oscar.
We have to distinguish some days, Mr. Mona, because today I know. You know why? You know why? Because today is a sad day for the PF. It's a very sad day.
I see.
They are losing the 9
People, yeah.
members of parliament coming out from the parliament. And do you know what does this mean, Mr. Moon? Tomorrow, if any member of parliament raises a motion of impeaching Edgar Lungu, do you understand what can happen?
Hey, break it down for us, Brother Oscar. Break it down for us.
Well, we are talking about the numbers now. In parliament, it's the numbers, Mr. Muna. There is a question mark, a big question mark regarding why they have arrested our sister Faith again. Very big question mark.
On that one, I'm waiting for the development from the Faith Musonda new detention, because that one, that one will bring in a lot of skeletons from the closet, because the first one wasn't that much, but this one will be the one with the juiciness, the juice.
Exactly. So you can imagine, that's why I'm telling you this. The Faith Musonda saga might bring now what can push one or some ministers to really raise this motion fast and take advantage of the numbers, because the parliament works with numbers. And these people now, minus 9 PF members of parliament, if that motion is raised, my dear, I'm sorry, the man might be. You
mean the immunity? The immunity waived off.
The immunity might be done.
Right, right. Okay, I think this is where we have to end it. So we'll be back again tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen. Brother Oscar, you've been a blessing. You've been awesome, even though today we missed you. Anyway, you'll be back to grace us with your presence some other day. Thank you. Have a great evening.
Thank you.
All right, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. That's it for tonight. We basically talked about the most trending topics coming in from Zambia. I have been your humble and gracious host, Mnalula. And of course, I really want to appreciate all the viewers that have been here with us from the very beginning. I can see the regular people such as Mary, Carol, Mr. Hicks, and everybody that has been contributing. You people are so amazing. And at this particular moment, right, you already know the drill. You need to share. You need to share the video one more time, and just need to hit the like button, because we need about 1,000 likes, and we are just slightly close to about 1,000 likes. So in case you just walked through and you haven't had the privilege of smashing the like button, hit the like button and share this particular video on your timeline and in 5 different Facebook groups that you belong to. So we need to have at least 600 Facebook shares, because it genuinely helps us to get motivated. Because to be honest, we are not really getting any money from this. And we're not, asking for any money from the viewers or anybody else. We're just basically doing this because we want the Zambian people to have a different perspective, to be sort of, enlightened with what is happening. And it's a very good getaway place where people can just, come to ZCon and just basically relax, chill, and just get updated with what is happening to Zambia. And it takes in a lot of work and effort on our end. So the best thing that you can do is encourage us by sharing. Sharing is caring. So whenever we are live, kindly share the video, let everybody know that ZCon is on, tag everybody, and smash up the like button. So please let us have more than 600 shares and more than 1,000 Facebook likes, because that's really going to help us get motivated to do more and more and more. So thank you very much. Thank you. I am so humbled. Have a great evening. Remember, do not be selfish. Be your brother's keeper. Let's make sure that we take Zambia to another level. And one thing that I would love to say is Zambia has got the capability to be an investment hub for Africa, because look at our country. We have never had any bad things happen. We've never had any, conflicts, any civil war. We are basically a beacon of peace, and we can use this particular attribute to market ourselves and to, just brand ourselves in a way that can really attract a lot of investments, a lot of, factories, manufacturing firms, just basically being able to take advantage of the peacefulness that we have had. So Zambia has everything that it takes to be one of the best, economies in Africa, because we have what it takes and we have a very good past and a very good history. So it's very easy for us to market ourselves. But this can only happen if we continue adding pressure and just being able to be vigilant as citizens, because educated citizens are really going to make sure that the leaders are accountable and we do things that really help propel the nation to the next level. So please help us get motivated by participating. We really appreciate all the comments that you gave us. I really learned a lot from you, and thanks a lot for being part of Z Corner. So I will be back tomorrow, 8 p.m. Zambian time. And we're going to have another conversation depending on what is going to be trending tomorrow. So yeah, talk to you a little bit later. Remember, keep on hustling, keep on grinding, and let's just make our nation, our families proud, and let's just take this country to another level. Thank you, and God bless you. Take care. Bye.